Hi! Welcome to DL4JRA. In the previous video, we did CSV object classification tutorial specifically for numerical CSV. This time, we will go through on how to do CSV object classification model tutorial for time series CSV using recurrent neural network RNN and long short-term memory model, or known as LSTM. Similar to the last video, grab training CSV start node. This time, use load time series CSV node and CSV data iterator. Repeat the same step for validating CSV start node. And connect them. And then click on the load dataset. The config layout is similar, but for load time series CSV node, the path here is for the directory to the folder that contains the training CSV files, like this, in the train folder. You can see that there's features folder and labels folder. Okay. Inside the features folder, there's a number of CSV files that contain the time series features for certain class or label. Let's look at one CSV file. This is how data inside looks like for time series CSV. Let's see on the labels CSV, how did they look like? Okay. You can see here the class mentioned is class 4. The file's name is similar to the feature CSV file's name. Okay, let's go back. This is the kind of files that can be used for this model. Copy the address of the folder, paste it here. Leave the batch size as default. Num class labels is the number of labels you have. Num skipped lines is similar to previous video where you can specify which row contains lines that you wish to skip. Example like headers. Repeat the same thing for validating dataset. The test folder have similar structure to train folder. Yes. We will use the nodes from computation graph category. Grab all the nodes in this category: computation graph start node, config, add input, set output, and the others. Connect the nodes. You can click on the nodes to configure, but for RNN and LSTM, the basic one, the default one, is actually already enough to process all the data, the data set that we have. Okay, now as usual, let's take a train node and also a validate node and connect the nodes. And since we also want to save this model, we'll take export node as well. Connect it to. Configure the train node as usual. Set up the number of epochs you want to train your model for. Also set up the export node. State where you want the directory of your safe model and your classifier file name. And that's it. I think everything looks fine. You can proceed on clicking the construct button. And now it's just a waiting game. You can monitor your model performance through the command prompt, but it depends on your dataset. If your dataset is pretty big, it will take some time for the model to run, and also depends on how many epochs you set on running. Yes. When the green button pops up, and when you scroll down, you can see that the network model has been saved. You can click done. And that is all for CSV object classification model tutorial for time series CSV using RNN and LSTM. Thank you.